I think we are all born artists. If you think about the history of art, I mean, cave drawings, it's always been a thing.
Since the dawn of time, it's been in our nature to create art. These days, you can find it in some of the most unlikely of places, gathered under the shadow of a palm tree or nestled among the horsetail plants. These droopy-eyed and pouty-lipped sculptures are the works of one very unusual artist.
Hey, bud, how you doing? You're looking pretty good.
I've always been an artist. I was born an artist. But I'm number 10 of 12 children. They still call the last four the little girls. So I never quit playing in the mud. I always kiss them goodbye.
Take one look around Denise Greenwood Loveless's studio in Sugar Land, and playing seems to be exactly what she's doing. Here you won't find any anatomically correct Venus de Milos or flawlessly sculpted Davids, and that's because her pieces are, well, imperfect.
Your art's different.
Very.
You're proud of that. It's intentional.
I love that. And I always say, I will have people walk by my work and say, that is weird. And I love that. I'm like, listen, love it or hate it, feel something. I made you feel something. And that's all I ask.
Do they ever say that's ugly?
Probably. I've probably heard that. So because I balance beauty and grotesque and edgy and light and dark, my message is that we are all of these things, that we are imperfectly perfect. We end up being fed for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as children these images on television in Hollywood. Look at what we grew up with, you know, these fairy tale family stories.
Everybody was beautiful.
Everyone was beautiful, and still are. I watch TV commercials, and you know, it's for chips or beer or whatever it is, and they're watching football, and it's 6 guys. Rarely sometimes there's a woman in there. Not one of them's in a wheelchair. Put a guy in a wheelchair, and then I'll think about, you know, buying your
and
product.
They all have perfect teeth
and they all have perfect teeth and beautiful hair. That's not life. That's not who we are.
What about this one over here?
So from the cone hats, I went to doing these drums. Those are my first 2 fairly, you know, medium scale pieces.
From squatty bodies to oversized noses and a couple of even stranger features, Denise has made a career out of imperfect art. Her work is bright, bold, and makes a statement, one that says we don't have to fit in this beautifully wrapped box. We come with flaws that make each and every one of us unique, and that's something she learned at a very young age from her family.
So I talk about having 11 siblings. Our number 6, we call the hub and the wheel, is severely handicapped. His name is Ken, and he's amazing. Ken has cerebral palsy, he has a learning disability, and he's deaf, and he's wheelchair bound. From a very early age, he was always there. My mother used to say, whoever was the baby at the time would play with him on the floor, but one day that baby would get up and walk, and he'd still be there on the floor. You know, he couldn't get up and walk. And so that's kind of my battle cry. So he informs my work on every level. This is what's beautiful. This is what's perfect.
Denise says her brother Ken is the inspiration for every piece she sculpts, and he's the heart of the message she's trying to share. And when she's not hard at work on her next sculpture, Denise is at school spreading that message to anyone who will listen.
I talk to people all the time that say, oh, I wasn't born with talent, or I'm not creative at all. That's a bunch of hooey. Throw that out the window.
What do you tell kids when you go and speak to them?
I want to get the message across that we are perfect. We can improve on ourselves, always. We always strive to be better people.
Different eyes, that's who we are, that's how we are. We're all very, very different.
So I tell them we can not only acknowledge, but celebrate all the ways we don't fit these boxes that are a lie. Maybe some people who feel less than perfect might be hidden from society or keep themselves hidden and lonely inside. And so we end up in a society where 12-year-olds are dying of eating disorders, and our LGBT youth are taking their own lives because they feel they cannot fit these boxes, which is what Hollywood is trying to sell us. And I'm going, it's a lie, don't listen. We are perfect because we are who we were born to be. What is perfect and what is beautiful? Guess what? Hollywood doesn't get to decide. We do, in our art and in who we are.
At first glance, one may not understand Denise Greenwood Loveless's work. The characters she creates are unusual and strangely shaped, but she says they are also beautiful. And just like each and every one of us, they are perfectly imperfect.
What do you hope people, whether they buy your art or not, if they just see it, what do you hope they take away from your pieces?
I hope it makes them smile, first of all. But I hope they take away this whole idea of imperfectly perfect. I think beauty is subjective, and we get to decide. We don't need to be told what is beautiful.
Imperfectly perfect.
Imperfectly perfect. Imperfect, I am perfect.